Good evening, I'm Emily Sacco.
And I'm Bailey Stripling. Welcome to the final Marquette Now episode of the semester.
Coming up, prayers for Waukesha.
A rise in COVID-19 cases.
Heating up at UWM.
And the winner of the I-94 rivalry.
All that and more, starting right now.
From the Jeannie Hayes Virtual Studio, this is Marquette Now.
Marquette continues to offer its support to those affected by the Waukesha parade tragedy.
Support comes in the form of counseling center services, employee assistance programs for faculty and staff, and of course, prayers.
Marquette Now's Jackson Gross talks to one of Marquette's leaders about faith outreach.
Just shock and sadness, real compassion for the people who were there witnessing it and the kind of trauma they must have gone through.
Those were the words of Father Jim Voice, who is the Vice President of Mission and Ministry at Marquette University, in response to the events from Waukesha, Wisconsin, when a car raced through the Christmas parade, killing 6 people.
And so I invite you to join with me today in a moment of prayer.
After the tragic events had unfolded, Father Voice, with the help of his staff, recorded a video in the O'Brien Jesuit residence to send to the Marquette community.
It struck me that there are probably a lot of people on campus who also have connections to Waukesha, or who may have been involved, or may have friends or loved ones who were injured or killed. And it's just really important in those times to step forward and to invite the community to prayer and to reach out to one another in support.
For those who are still struggling with what happened in Waukesha, Father Voice offered these words of wisdom.
Anybody who was there and affected by it, they're dealing with trauma. And trauma really needs to be processed. And it's legitimate and appropriate that they would feel those feelings, whatever their feelings might be in that regard. The second thing is to find people who can help them to talk it out.
From the O'Brien Jesuit residence, I'm Jackson Gross, Marquette Wire News.
An anonymous alumni couple is launching a $10 million giving challenge. This will help transform student health, wellness, and recreation services. The couple has already donated a $5 million gift and are committing to give another $5 million once the university raises $10 million. This builds on the Time to Rise campaign, which surpassed $500 million a couple weeks ago. COVID-19 cases are slightly on the rise at Marquette.
Marquette's current alert status is moderate, with 21 positive cases from Thanksgiving to the first day of December. The chart shows a slight increase in cases over the holiday.
This pandemic is affecting campuses other than just Marquette's.
Marquette Now's Ben Schultz talks with students both at Marquette and those northwest of this campus.
The COVID-19 pandemic that sent students to online learning in March of 2020 is still affecting students at Marquette and schools across the country. Caroline Wisrow, a sophomore at Marquette University, feels safe from COVID at Marquette.
Yeah, I do feel pretty safe, I would say. People are pretty good about wearing their masks indoors, and pretty respectful when you're asked to put them on.
Being able to be back in the classroom is what Maria Rovia, a sophomore at Marquette, prefers to online learning.
I prefer in-person classes because I feel like I'm in the class and I learn more with the teacher, like being there to explain.
Students at Minnesota State University Mankato, who had been in person this year for the first time in over a year, saw that time short-lived as many classes have since gone online. Ian Verbrugge, a senior at MSU Mankato, shared his thoughts on going back to online learning.
I do prefer to go in person, so I was a little bit disappointed about that, but I was also understanding because cases are on the rise in this area.
Unlike at Marquette, students aren't required to be vaccinated at MSU Mankato. And for Olivia Bosetti, a junior studying communication disorders, she has noticed her classes becoming more difficult with the transition to online.
We have a class called phonetics, and that class is like super hard already. So switching online and not being able to like communicate directly with your professor has been super hard, and not like showing exactly what you're doing. And like on Zoom, it just goes so much faster. So it's so much harder to like follow along with what you're learning.
I'm Ben Schultz, Marquette Wire News.
The United Nations held its first International Persons with Disabilities Day in 1992. Nearly 3 decades later, Marquette University is celebrating in its own way. Marquette Now's Charlotte Ives has more on the dance performance that honors our community members with disabilities.
Friday, the Haggerty Museum of Art hosted On Display Global, an international dance performance in honor of the UN's International Persons with Disabilities Day. The program, which began 6 years ago, was organized by Katie Ott Thompson, a person who has been involved from the get-go.
We were in with it from day one. It has grown from several sites around the country into a wide variety of sites throughout the world.
The display was a live movement garden that featured 10 performers, including Ott Thompson herself.
It is an improvisation. It lasts an hour. Each of the participants are in one spot the entire time. They are all kind of stationed in front of a piece of art or an area in the museum that really felt comfortable.
In addition to being a celebration of different bodies, the event was a study in silence and stillness. Ben Lash, a Marquette senior and an employee at Haggerty Museum, found this to be especially striking.
Well, right off the bat, I think the beginning of it in itself was from seeing all of the performers go about as themselves and then suddenly go into this stillness or near stillness. That was startling in a good way, in the best way possible.
Lash said the event was interesting and it accomplished something meaningful.
I think that showing bodies and people as they are is a really powerful thing.
From the Haggerty Museum of Art, I'm Charlotte Ives, Marquette Wire News.
The Backpack program is hosting a food drive now through Friday, December 17th. Non-perishable food items are being collected at drop-off points throughout campus, such as the Alumni Memorial Union, Rayner Memorial Library, and Zilber Hall. Coming up, a unique job by someone across the city.
And later, bringing in fashion for charity. We'll be right back.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Roll over. When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique. And your mother. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Every day,
millions of people are connecting. Father,
cosplayer,
mentor,
actor. It's time we take a step forward, come together,
and discover
how accepting our differences can make us stronger.
Welcome back to Marquette Now. I'm Emily Sacco.
And I'm Bailey Stripling.
There are some jobs that just go unnoticed, yet they could be one of the most unique ones to have.
Marquette Now's Timothy Lateau takes us to University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, where he met someone with quite a special role.
In the basement of the UWM chemistry building, something is brewing. Not in a beaker. It is the beaker.
So there's a little bit of blowing and glass blowing.
This scientific glassblower is a diamond in the rough.
There's maybe a little over a dozen universities across the entire United States that have scientific glassblowers actually working in the Department of Chemistry.
A rare gem, but one that is economically efficient.
So it's a huge time saving and cost savings for the department, for the university, actually for the region area also, because he also supports Marquette.
Neil repairs broken glassware for Marquette and other labs as a contractor.
Marquette has its own chemistry department and glass breaks, right?
Not only does Neil repair glassware, he also creates custom-made ones.
It starts to turn white. When I am interested in making something, I'll take it to Neil and I'll show him my little sketch of what I think I need, and he'll always help me improve it.
Neil helped Joe improve too, as a student.
Neil's an excellent teacher. He's very thorough, very patient. That's just his personality. He has a good sense of humor, especially when he would see things that I was doing.
The chemistry department chair took Neil's graduate level glass blowing class.
That's 1,054 Fahrenheit is that oven temperature for Pyrex glass. Little more than pizza. Yeah.
The secret recipe runs in the family.
My father is a retired glassblower. He did it for 40 years. He graduated from the same school I went to, same community college. And so then I went to Salem Community College, the same exact school, and followed in his footsteps in the industry.
Following in his footsteps as he crafts with his hands. I'm Timothy Lateau, Marquette Wire News.
The sounds of the holiday season are on campus. A cappella singers take the stage this past Saturday at a Christmas a cappella concert.
Christmas time is here. Everything's okay. Merry Christmas, happy holidays.
While the holidays are a time to celebrate together, the a cappella group The Melodies are also saying so long to a member.
We actually have one Mel who's a senior whose last concert is today, and if I cry, it's because I sang with her since freshman year of high school. And we always get our senior Mel flowers and a gift.
The Bayanihan Student Organization hosted their 25th anniversary fashion show this past Saturday. Marquette Now's Hope Moses has more on what the event means to its organizers.
The Bayanihan Student Organization, also known as BSO, presented their 25th annual fashion show on December 4th in the Alumni Memorial Union Ballroom. The co-ed fashion show consists of dancing and modeling segments that fit an overarching theme. This year's theme was That's So 70s and featured 70-inspired clothing and dance moves. Choreographer Shannon Panguia talks about her experience arranging the show.
And originally I wanted to do like before I found out what the theme was, I wanted to do like Applause by Lady Gaga. And then I found out it was 70s theme, and then I realized Bruno Mars had a 70s like sound to him. So I went with a bunch of his songs.
The BSO Fashion Show is the top student-led fundraiser at Marquette. Student organizer Jillian Savella credits part of this success to Cura Personalis and its roots in the BSO.
So I think that combines really well with Marquette's value of Cura Personalis and the value of service that we have on this campus. We recognize that, hey, we're not here just for an education, we're not here just to pursue a degree, we're here to change the world for a better.
All proceeds raised from this year's fashion show will be donated to Fund Life, a nonprofit organization that assists children in pursuing their goals. Dancer Elise Monma says this opportunity can help students get adjusted to the Marquette campus.
It's just a really amazing experience, especially if you are not well tuned with the community at Marquette. This is just a really great way to become integrated.
From the Alumni Memorial Union, I'm Hope Moses.
In the midst of the holiday season, many will be looking forward to spending extra time with family.
Marquette Now's Timothy Lateau catches up with a Marquette alum who wishes he could spend more time with a family member.
He was very selfless. Like he would give up family time if someone needed him to help him out with something.
But nothing was more important to Anibal Santiago than family.
It was truly to be my brother's brother. It was just I loved it, man. And I miss him every day.
Anibal Santiago was killed in combat in Afghanistan in 2011, and he left behind a son who was 11 at the time of his father's death.
I remember when the Cubs won the World Series, I took a picture, framed it, and set it right by his gravesite. I was like, Dad, you didn't get a chance to see it, but the Cubs finally won the World Series.
Baseball is still a part of their bond.
I remember it was one of the last few calls I had with my dad. And he asked me, he's like, hey, buddy, how are the Cubs doing? Yeah, Dad, Cubs aren't doing too good. How are the White Sox doing? Not doing too good. All right. Did you make your decision yet? And I was like, yeah, Dad. I was like, I'm going to choose the White Sox because I want to be your rival.
Long-distance rivals that left a void even when Anibal was still alive.
My dad missed countless games because he was stationed overseas. And so where I would watch all my other friends go, see their dads would grab their sporting equipment at the end of their, excuse me, at the end of their game. Where I would just be carrying mine by myself.
Hannibal was playing ball in America, while Anibal was in Afghanistan, sometimes coaching.
Telling me, he's like, I was teaching this kid how to swing, and he's like, we had to create a makeshift tee, a batting tee. I was like, oh, how'd you do that? He's like, yeah, we found some wood, we found some screws and this and that, and we made it. He's like, it didn't really work, but it kind of got the job done still at the end of the day.
Hannibal has a lasting message for everyone, and it couldn't be truer this holiday season.
Even though somebody can be far away, you can always take time to give that phone call. You could always find a way to connect to them. And just because they're not there in person doesn't mean you can't feel their love and their outreach.
Anibal may no longer be on this earth, but love still remains in heartwarming memories. I'm Timothy Leteau, Marquette Wire News.
Emily, did you get caught in the snow this morning?
I did, actually. How about you, Charlie?
I didn't because I got out a little bit earlier. However, it has been snowing more than I'm used to this late, or this early, I should say, in the December month. However, it has been really cold. I actually had to break out my winter jacket earlier than I expected, and here's the proof. 28 degrees right now with a humidity of 64, so our lips are getting chapped, and so our hands are getting a little cracked. Precipitation down to 0, there's your answer, and winds currently out of the north at 3, so our wind chill sitting at about 25 degrees, so it's not too bad. However, if we look to radar, we have snow. So earlier in the week we had snow as well. There's a lot of weather going down in the south right now, and we got a little bit to our north. However, later in the week, I think by tomorrow, we should have a little bit in the flurries as well. And I think I was hearing predictions of maybe having a white Christmas. That's far out, but we can keep our fingers crossed. Out in the overnight lows for tonight, Superior's at 20 degrees, Minocqua's at 13, Wausau at 17 degrees, and Milwaukee, the warmest of the state, makes sense because we're the most south, at 26. And looking into our overnight high, or tomorrow's highs, I should say, we're at 35 in Superior, Minocqua 31, Green Bay at 35, and Milwaukee all the way at 40 degrees. Really warming up for tomorrow. You got me for a loop, that's for sure. Now, if we look towards tonight, we're at 26 degrees with a humidity of 66, precipitation of 15, and the winds out of the southeast at 10, 15 miles per hour. So that 26, bit of a fake. It's more closer to 19 or 18. So make sure you stay bundled up with your gloves and your hats. We don't need anyone going to the Marquette Clinic for anything we don't need to. Now, moving into tomorrow, like we said, 40 degrees. Where'd that come from? Humidity at 71 and precipitation chance at 50%. There's that snow I was telling you about. However, the winds out of the south from 15 to 25 miles per hour. Gloves, hats, keep them on. We need everyone to stay nice and cozy because cozy is fun. Now, moving into 5-day forecast. Friday, rain. I hate to see it. We had snow and now we're going back. 45 degrees for our high and 42 for our low. Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, all sunny, 43, 47, 46 for our high. That is amazing, but we're still hoping for that white Christmas. Now, that's all we got for weather, but stay with us because Timothy Leteau will be back with us with sports right after the break.
Have you ever seen somebody treated unfairly because of the color of their skin?
Do you guys know what it means to have white privilege?
What is racism and
What do you think about it?
Talk to young children about what racism is, giving them the language to understand it. They can be disruptors. They can shape and shift culture.
We may not always know the answer, but we'll try and help you learn.
You don't have to have all the answers, but that doesn't mean we can't start.
There are a lot of ways to reach out to a friend about their mental health. Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
What are you looking for?
Welcome back. I'm Timothy Lateau with your Marquette Now Sports Report. Beat Bucky? Not this time. The Marquette men's basketball team snaps their 2-game win streak with an 89-76 loss to in-state rival University of Wisconsin. Tyler Peters has the story.
Another day, another upset? Not quite this time. The Marquette men's basketball team takes on the number 23 Wisconsin Badgers in Madison, Wisconsin, hoping to improve to 8-1 on the season. It's all redshirt first-year forward Oso Ighodaro in the early stages of this one as he puts down 11 points on perfect 5-for-5 shooting. However, a late 7-0 scoring run for the Badgers puts them up 34-31 going into the half. The tides completely turn in the second half as Wisconsin begins to knock down shot after shot. Marquette has no answers and allow the Badgers to shoot an absurd 71% from the floor in the half, leading them to a 89-76 victory over the Golden Eagles.
We were able to get a lot of things in the paint. I haven't seen a shot chart yet, but, I think we had a lot of high percentage shots, and that, when you play inside out, that helps.
What did the Badgers do to get the offense going, one might ask?
We talk to each other all the time, and sometimes it's get Johnny Bone, get the F out the way.
Get out of the way, they did, as sophomore guard Johnny Davis dropped 25 points on 9-for-14 shooting.
It's an inter-state game. You just got a little bit of an extra drive. So I thought we found that in the second half, and that's when we went on that run.
Along with Ighodaro, redshirt first-year forward Justin Lewis was one of the bright spots for Marquette in this one, collecting a team-high 14 points.
Honestly, this is a great experience for our guys. It's our first road game. We have a lot of people on our team that have never played together until this season. So being in this environment, playing in this game, even going through the really, really tough second half that we had where we gave up 55 points, get right next to that, tough result and what caused it to occur so that we can make sure it doesn't occur the next time.
The Golden Eagles continue their road trip tonight at Kansas State. Reporting from the Kohl Center, I'm Tyler Peters, Marquette Wire Sports.
The Golden Eagles are back in action tonight and will try to avoid 2 straight losses when they tip off against Kansas State at 8 p.m. The women's basketball team finds themselves starting undefeated in Big East Conference play as they pick up wins against Xavier and Butler. The Golden Eagles put on a defensive showcase against the Bulldogs, causing 26 turnovers in the victory. Kristen Parisi tells us more.
An afternoon of career milestones. The Marquette women's basketball team hosts the winless Butler Bulldogs for a Sunday matinee matchup. Coming to the game, Lauren Van Clunen officially ties Angel Robinson's program record for career games played at 134. The game starts off slow for both teams as neither can find the bottom of the basket. Marquette finds its stride in the second quarter, outscoring the Bulldogs 20-13 and head into the locker room with a 34-23 lead. But the Bulldogs do not let up. Butler comes out of the break on an 11-0 run and hold the Golden Eagles scoreless until Jordan King finds the basket late in the third. Graduate student Selena Taburn sparks the Bulldogs offense with 6 third-quarter points, but the Golden Eagles respond with their own 9-0 run to end the quarter with a 43-34 lead.
It was just, we kind of let them have whatever look they wanted in the beginning of the second half, and just locking back into our defense. I think that was a huge piece to our win tonight, is the deflections and the steals. So
I think, that was the biggest thing, is just getting back into our activity on defense.
It was all Golden Eagles from there as they cruised to a 59-45 victory and remain undefeated at home with help from graduate student Carissa McLaughlin and Lauren Van Clunen, who both chip in with 15 points.
It was a very difficult challenge and just a hard-nosed, grinded-out type of game. We know when we play Butler in their style, they want to keep it very low scoring, and there's a lot of physicality in the paint. So I thought we handled ourselves in a day maybe where we didn't have our best. I thought we handled ourselves in a way to make enough plays down the stretch.
The Bulldogs commit 26 turnovers, and junior guard Jordan King comes up with a career high of 6 steals in the victory. The Golden Eagles are back in action tonight as they are currently facing off against the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee Panthers. Reporting from the Al McGuire Center, I'm Kristen Parisi, Marquette Wire Sports.
The women are currently facing off against crosstown rival University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee and hold a 29-18 lead at halftime. The women's volleyball season is over. The Golden Eagles fall to the Dayton Flyers in 4 sets during the first round of the NCAA tournament, ending their postseason run. Graduate student middle blocker Savannah Rennie put up a team high of 14 kills in the match. Taylor Wolf also secures her 8th triple-double of the season, making her the 2nd player in the country to reach such a feat, joining Aaron Cook out of Presbyterian. That's it for sports, but don't go anywhere. Marquette Now will be right back with our Down to the Wire segment.
Welcome back. I'm Emily Sacco.
And I'm Bailey Stripling.
Marquette Wire Executive News Editor Megan Woolard joins us now for tonight's edition of Down to the Wire.
She's with Phoebe Gable to talk about slow response times of limo services on campus. Megan?
Thanks, Bailey and Emily. Phoebe, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight.
Thanks for having me, Megan.
So for the Tribune this week, you wrote an article about the concerns around the limos on campus. For those of us who maybe aren't familiar, what are limos?
So the limo is a service provided to the students on campus, and it's a transportation service that runs from 5 p.m. to 3 a.m., and students just have to call campus safety and tell them where they are, and it'll pick them up, and it'll take them to any place on campus, or there's 4 off-campus locations it can take them to.
So reading your article, there's a lot of frustration among the students about these limos and the situation on campus. Kind of what's going on with them?
So I've talked to a lot of people about it, and it could take up to 10 minutes on hold to get to campus safety, and then another 20 minutes to even get the limo. And with the weather conditions in Milwaukee and the crime reports we've been getting, a lot of students don't feel safe walking. So they're really frustrated with the delayed response time.
Do we have any definitive reason as to why the response time is being delayed?
Yeah, so I was able to contact campus safety, and an MUPD officer got back to me and said that the main reason for the response time had to do with the understaffing at the campus safety for limo drivers.
Is there any plan to help boost the staffing so that these problems aren't happening?
Yeah, so they're really trying to advertise for the job itself. So they're offering a $250 bonus and making it seem like a great job. So people will want to do it.
Well, thank you so much, Phoebe, for coming on the show. Your first time Down to the Wire. That is all the time that we have for tonight, though. So I'm going to send it back to Bailey and Emily in the studio.
The report for tonight and for the rest of this semester. Thanks for joining us. I'm Emily Sacco.
And I'm Bailey Stripling. We'd like to thank our fantastic production team for making this show happen every week.
Woo! In the meantime, check marquettewire.org for all the latest campus news. Good night, Marquette.